I firmly believe that Australia should implement its own Bill of Rights. We need one that is comparable to the ones seen in almost every other Western country. We have the chance as a nation to better those already in place and to make Australia the best country it could possibly be by ensuring the rights of all its citizens. The main reason for this belief is the fact that currently in Australia, despite the relative freedom and maintenance of human rights, the Australian government can remove several implied legal rights at will. There should be a major emphasis on the term implied, as most of the Australian people's rights are implied and not set in stone. It is also extremely important to note that there are not just rights that can be removed, but a number that do not exist legally at all. The Australian Constitution only lists a small handful of, albeit crucial rights, but not nearly enough to be considered acceptable. The Law Council of Australia found in their own report on the importance of a potential Bill of Rights that most people in Australia would be surprised to learn that in our country there are very few legal protections of human rights. Australia is now the only Western democracy without some kind of National Human Rights Act or Bill of Rights. The fact is, there is little stopping the Australian government from fabricating and implementing a constitutionally valid act that may impede the rights of the Australian people. This sticks out immensely as one of the most persuasive points as to why Australia does need its own Bill of Rights. Most of the rights that Australians believe they hold are not technically rights at all. A right is only a right if it is inalienable and unable to be removed. There are numerous examples of this that could potentially happen to any Australian person, many of which have been described by the Law Council of Australia, and even more importantly by the Australian Human Rights Commission, who in their own report described the necessity of a Bill of Rights for this exact reason. The Australian Human Rights Commission states that most people in Australia would be surprised to learn that in our country there are very few legal protections of human rights, going on to describe how by stating numerous examples, one of which is how asylum seekers, including young children, have been held in mandatory and indefinite detention, some of which have been there for more than 5 years, and how working parents don't have guaranteed parental leave provisions. These are startling findings for what is supposed to be one of the best countries to live in the world. A Bill of Rights is necessary to better the living conditions of all the country's people and to ensure that each and every person receives equality.
Created using Powtoon.